Greetings, dear ones. I am Sonia, the host of the Treasure Is You podcast, and this is the sweet essence of surrender. This is a time in all of our lives to come to the realization of our divinity. What was once thought impossible has always been possible. You come from a divine heritage of great divinity. This is why this very moment is groundbreaking, and you are at a pivotal junction of transformation. Yes, realizing that once upon a time you walked through life with your eyes completely closed to the distortions that ran rampant within the mind. You are an immensely powerful essence who has come in search of self. Look no further, because the treasure is you. Hello, dear ones. And as you can see, I have a lovely guest on the Treasures You podcast. Yes. And it is my pleasure to introduce Miss Francois. Wait a minute now. I'm holding it. Hold back now. The MSS is multi-talented and super sexy. She is a Get Your Groove Back coach, entertainer, speaker, author, and it is my pleasure to introduce. I can just go on and say more about her, but I'm so excited for her to speak. So I introduce you, Miss Francois, to the Treasure Is You podcast.
All awesome.
Right. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, it's a pleasure to have you, dear.
It's a pleasure to be here. I thought you was going to go on and on so I could just sit down and listen to how amazing I am. I like that.
I know. I could have gone on and on because, yes, I'm looking at what I wrote down and we have a lot here, which is pretty impressive.
Thank you.
3 million people. 3 million people you
yes,
have helped.
households.
Yes.
In the households that I reached, which is exciting. And hopefully it keeps going on and I increase from there. That's the goal.
Yes. Yes. I love your energy. Wow. So how is it? What is it like to connect with 3 million people or over 3 million people?
So, you know what's one of the best things with having a TV show and being able to reach all these people? Sometimes, remember, my name is Miss Francois. I have had, and I also work in a financial institution. But it's always interesting to me how people wave from the car. They're like, Miss Francois. And I'm like, at first, I'm not sure if it's because of banking, but then it'll be like, I saw your show. Like, I have people all the time come up to me. So that's kind of awesome. Or you go to a function, a conference or something, and people know who you are, or they start laughing when they see you because they're thinking of something you said in a prior podcast or the TV show. So it's really exciting and interesting in that aspect.
Yes, I agree. When I was reading on your website and looking at some of your videos, yes, it's just, you are a person that you have a gift. Use your gift, and you are. So I love that. I love your energy, just everything about you.
And so, don't forget my sexy accent, my beautiful Trinidad and Tobago accent.
Absolutely. Are you kidding me? I love all of that. All of it. So how is your talk show?
Okay, so the cool thing is, right, beside I have my regular talk show, I somewhat put it in a pause, but it's still going because I only do specials. So I have to really, really like you and think you're fabulous and amazing. Like, I'm going to do one of the specials, which has to do with a divorce lawyer. So I really love that aspect of thing. I could have the jokes at the same time, have the comedy, but still have the information for people. And that's why I like to blend the laughter with the learning. And beside that,
Mm-hmm.
I even recently started this new TV show called Caribbean Brilliance, where I
Oh,
Caribbean
mm-hmm.
Americans, because I believe a lot of Caribbean people, when they're from small islands. So when they
Right.
look to America, America is big, it's huge. There's somewhere they might never be able to go. They might never even get a passport. But I want to show people that people come here every day from Caribbean American backgrounds and they
Mm.
made it and they become doctors, lawyers, they become
Right.
entrepreneurs. So I want them to be like a beacon of light to encourage other young ones coming up and even encourage people who are here from the Caribbean that it
Yes.
is possible to
Yes.
accomplish amazing things.
It is definitely possible. So, what can you tell us about being from Trinidad and Tobago?
So, first of all, like people think I joke when I say one of the sexiest accents in the world. It is. It's in the top 10 sexiest accent in the world. And beside that, one thing that everyone knows Trinidad and Tobago for, it's the carnival. It's carnival season normally happens at the end of February, early March, is where everybody come from everywhere. They masquerade in the street. They have costumes. They have competition. Our music is called soca and
Mhm.
calypso, and it have all these amazing things. And if you're not sure where Trinidad and Tobago from, we have Nicki Minaj is Trinidadian. So I like to
Yes.
people is people you may know but didn't realize they have that type of background. Even
Right.
Cardi B, one of her family members is from Trinidad. So it's good
Right.
to know we are wrong, but
Yes.
the number one thing we're known for is carnival.
Yes. Yes. That is definitely world known, like throughout the world.
Yeah, it's called the greatest show on earth, where we just get to get naked and just dance in the street for 2 days, celebrate, and just love on one another.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. How long does it last? So I thought
Yeah.
it lasts longer than that.
No, it's only 2 days. The thing is, with Trinidadians, it's only 2 days, but they start, weeks before for
Yeah.
constant party. They literally shut down all the clubs, and all the parties tend to be outside, and people come from all over the world.
Wow. That is amazing. That is amazing. So, yeah. So, I want to ask you too. I'm going to ask about the food. So, what is the favorite staple food?
So the number one thing people like when they say when you land, right,
Mm,
is something called doubles. I can't even fully explain because when I explain it in American terms, it just
mhm,
doesn't sound right. But it's like two, you have to think of it like two flat bread, but it's not
uh-huh,
a flat bread, but it's a soft dough. So it's called
mhm,
doubles because it's two parts. One and one
mm,
is the double, and inside
mhm.
of it is you all would call it chickpeas. We call it chana. It's curry
Yeah.
chickpeas. It have all
Uh-huh.
different kind of seasoning. It have different sauces, chutney, and
Mhm.
it's spicy. So not any and anybody could just jump into it. So sometimes people say, do you want the pepper or do you want sliced pepper or no pepper? But that's one of
Oh.
the main things. We do a lot of curry when it comes to like roti. We have something
Yeah.
called that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Why go wipe the side of your mouth? Wipe the side of your mouth. You
Oh,
look like
yeah.
you're blood.
Yeah. I love that roti.
So it's a lot of curry thing. But you know what's funny? Even though we have our own foods, one of the things, the other thing that people do love is the KFC. It's actually number one in the world.
Really?
Jamaicans fight me on this, but it's nothing like American KFC. People actually
Mm.
come down to Trinidad to try the KFC because it has to do with the spice and the flavor and the seasoning. Totally different.
Wow. Now, I never heard of that, so I'm gonna have to try that because
Yeah,
I
no,
love
you can look it up. Believe me, it's
that.
totally finger
It's
licking
very
good.
totally huh? Wow. So, yeah. So, let me ask you, I looked on your website and you wrote a couple of books.
Oh, ooh, ooh, ooh. Let me tell you, girl.
Yes,
So let me.
please. Lights, camera, launch.
Yes.
One. Yeah.
And the whole point of that book, right? It came at a time during COVID that
Yes.
when I was doing my show, because my show this is in the sixth year, and I was tired and frustrated because I had to do every aspect. Like when you look at my show, it's not the simple podcast where you just sit in your living room, no
Right.
shade, but at the same time, it's in a studio, so I have to have the background. I have to have the clothes. If it's
Yeah.
something one I'm interviewing, I have to make sure I have the pictures in the background. I have to, learn everything about the product. It's a lot that goes into a production when you do a TV show. And
Yeah.
people, and the post production, the pre production, people don't understand all those aspects. So when I was being overwhelmed, I had a coach at the time, and she told me, "Why don't you write a book?" And my response was, "That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard." But this is why you have the right people in your life. I spoke to
Yeah.
my confidant, and he basically repeated all the stuff that I do, and he's like, "If you're doing all of this, that means you can show someone how to do it."
Yeah.
And again, I show in a way that the whole point of me doing the book is, people always say there's no I in team, but I always say there's me in team, and you have to start with yourself before you even begin to attract a team to help you with whatever your goals and vision for yourself is. So
Yeah.
it's me showing people how to start doing a TV show, but doing it at a certain level with all the fancy equipment, doing it the state of the art way, and doing it for next to nothing. So that's how that book came about.
Wow. So
I know.
yeah, that's great because you're putting out into the world everything that you have learned, and you're attempting to help people get on the right path for whatever they need to do, right?
Right, because when you think about it, when you start something and you have no clue, a lot of times you have a lot of failures. You're pulling and tugging, trying to figure it out. So now that I figure it out, instead of the next person have to go through stumbling and failing and falling all the time for the next 5 years, they could be easy. Just look at the book, and it's 10 times easier to, start in the right manner and get all the things that you might need, because it
Wow.
was a lot for me, because I didn't know TV was never something I wanted to be. The
Mhm.
only time I took a particular course to show me the ins and out, but my thing was always to be behind the scenes. It was never to be in front of the camera. But God always have His own plan, so I leave that to Him.
That's right. So is your talk show is based on what?
So
Relationships?
relationships, right? But the whole point of it, like even with the book that I wrote, let that it have a bunch of symbols. Let that man go, but in the middle of let that man, you'll see the symbols go.
Mhm.
So the thing that it's a journal, and the whole point is helping you to get over heartbreak. And the
Right.
reason I put the symbols in the middle, because people always ask me, what does that mean? I say, when you get in going through and healing after a breakup, you're not excited and happy. You might be angry. So those, I'm not big on using obscene languages, but I wanted
Right.
people to be able to vent. So you could say anything. Let that stupid man go. Let that effing man. Anything that you want to feel, you get to feel it while you say the title of the book. But the whole point is, I came up with 5+ ways to get over a breakup, and it's like part book, part journal for you to
Mhm.
help to heal. And I always
Mhm.
say every step mightn't be for everyone. Maybe you need all of them, maybe you need one of them, but it
Right.
relates to the book in terms of relationships. And the whole point when I started my show, it was because of men. I love
Yes.
men,
Mhm.
but once you go into certain relationships, the heartbreak that comes for that, I was angry. And
Right.
I did I'm eating ice cream, I'm not bathing, I curl up in a ball, the crying, you tell your friends the same story over and over, they get tired of hearing it, and they're
Yeah.
glad it's not them, right? So, so you go through all these things, and doing the TV show was more of a healing process. Since I
Yes.
was angry, I always tell people, if you look at the first four episodes, I am dead serious and angry when I'm having conversation, especially if you're a male guest. Oh Lord, I was letting people have it. I was mad, but
Oh, wow.
you evolve as things go. And I think when I started the show, it wasn't to help anybody. It was an opportunity I had. And I'm like, let me see, because the name of the show to begin with was Frustrated. And my ex, well, my boyfriend at the time, that we was going through something, he was like, "Oh, you can't call the show Frustrated. You can't be frustrated every time you come on the show." And he used to call me Miss Francois. So that's how I came up with the Miss Francois show. Like most shows is after the
Right.
person's name.
Yes.
But I wanted to do, I say, if I continue to do into relationships, I wanted to add some humor. I didn't want, when people flick on the screen, they're like, "Hi, my name is Miss Francois, and today," I wanted you to, because when you flip in
Yeah.
through, you have a few seconds to grab someone's attention. So when I
Right.
first did the first few episodes, I would have a comedian for the first 5 minutes. So when people see comedy, they'll give you a few seconds to see, let me see if this person can make me laugh. And
Mhm.
then the next 20 minutes, I would have different guests. Like, well, some of my favorite episodes is when I would have men on or women on asking, what do you think women want? What do you think men want? I would have
Mm.
experts on, psychologists on, different aspect, but at the same time, always have that jovial aspect to the TV show, because once you add humor, people connect more, people
Yes.
relax more, people retain more, people process differently. So all these things. Oh, I'm so intelligent. I don't know how I do it.
Yes, you are. You are. You get them to lighten up. And it's hard for people to lighten up, in this world that we live in. But comedians are gifts to the world.
Thank
They
you.
are.
And you know, they say most comedians is the one that has the most trauma, and they
Mm,
use their comedy as a mask to be able to, get over and just go through day by day in
mm,
order to have that light in their life. So when
yeah.
I heard that, I said that does make sense. And sometimes if you look up the most famous comedians, those are the ones that had many challenges in their life.
So can you name any comedian that you
Number
like?
one,
Yes.
that I like. Okay, so this is my this is
Okay.
my top three. And these are the reasons. I love me some Dave Chappelle. And
Yes.
I think I love Dave Chappelle in a different manner, because people see jokes and they laugh. But I look, when he tells a joke, sometimes he could start with one thing and he ends with that same thing at the ending. Plus, his stuff, you have to look at his stuff three, four times, because he is not no regular person telling any regular joke. It has so many things
Yeah.
behind it. He's
He's
very
intelligent.
knowledgeable, right? Intelligent. He's bringing in topics to make you think
Mm-hmm.
while you're laughing. Sometimes when you notice the people in the crowd always like, I think I should laugh at this, but is it wrong to laugh or is it right to laugh? But I
Right.
want to laugh. So there's not a lot of comedians that make you think that hard when it comes to comedy, and it still lessons in the laughter, and I love that aspect.
Yeah, I do
And
too.
so, and it's Dave Chappelle. My other one, I don't care what no one say about Bill Cosby.
Okay. Yes.
What I love, I've seen him twice in a
Mhm.
performing, and that man could come and sit down and talk about a chair for an hour. And it's the most hilarious. He takes nothing and make
Mhm.
it into something. And
Yeah.
that is a talent,
Yes, you're right.
not right. So those things. And the only other person I really like is someone called Lisa Lepinelli. She's a white lady, but
Mhm.
she retired. But what I liked about hers was she had the shock value. So if you
Mm,
ever watch a Lisa Lepinelli, because it's all on YouTube, you go, oh my God, I don't that much. Oh. So I think I incorporate some of all those different things, and
mhm.
I do my own thing, because you learn from other people, but at the same time you have to be your authentic self.
Exactly. Yes, yes. I agree with you. Dave Chappelle, like I love Dave Chappelle. Like I've gone to his show by my well, no, no, no. I didn't go by myself. I almost did because the person that I was supposed to go with, they couldn't go at the last moment. And then I had to get somebody else to take the ticket. But yeah, I almost went by myself to see him because that's how much
Because
I
you would have forget you was by yourself. You would have been dying with laughter. First, at first I
exactly.
think he has this at all. You're like, you look at him, you're like, wow, and then you just start rolling. I
Yes.
love it.
Yes. And he's unapologetic. He'll say whatever he's feeling. And that's
Right.
what's
And he's one of the
authentic.
few that hasn't gotten canceled. So that's also to be respected.
Yes. Yes. So yes, so he's definitely one of my favorite as well. So we were just talking about your second book. You were saying what was it called? Because something about the man,
Well, it's Let
let that
That Man Go. Five plus
okay.
ways in getting over a breakup.
Yes.
Journal your way into emotional breakthrough. Ooh, you hear that? Ooh, that title.
Yeah. All right, girl. All right, you telling us something. Yes, you're
Yes.
teaching
So
us.
that one, I just take you on a journey on different ways to help the healing process. And
Yeah.
that's the main. So it's five plus ways.
Wow. Well, let me tell you, you are an inspiration. You have a gift. And as I said earlier, I am just happy to have you on the show because, you know, just your mere presence, like, because I'm an empath and I can feel your energy across the screen here. It's so powerful. So, yes, you keep doing what you're doing, making people laugh and smile and helping them to get over relationships like heartbreaks. Because, yeah, wouldn't you say that one of the main things in the world is relationships? Isn't it? It's all about
That
relationships.
that's one of the that must be the top five things, because it's just like goes back to your network is equal your net worth. It's the
Mhm.
same thing. It's about building relationships, and it's not
Mhm.
even so much of what other people could do for you, is what you can do for people. And I'm
Yeah.
a big believer in the sowing the seeds, because a lot of times when you go to a networking event or any relationship event, people always there for what this person could do for me. How can they add to my life? And it shouldn't always be that way. It should be like, okay, that person is doing that. Maybe I could help them with this. Because my biggest thing that I have realized for myself is that whatever you're giving or service you're giving, it definitely come back tenfold. The only thing is people always expect it to look exactly the way they give it. And in
Mhm.
my experience, it looks totally different to than when it's for your time to receive. But definitely building relationships, and that could be in every aspect of different types of relationships.
Yes, exactly. So that's what I tell my viewers, and I tell my family members, because if you don't have good relationships, you just got to check yourself there to see, okay, what's going on here? I don't have too many friends. What's happening here? You know what I'm saying? That's what I
Yeah,
mean. It's all about relationships.
and also, you know what people definitely have to look at, because the same thing is like that. One of the things in the book with Let That Man Go, I talk about having friends and what type of friends. And certain friends might not, again, we could have, sometimes we have this thing that we have this friend for 20, 25 years, and that's my ride or die. And I'm
Mhm,
like, not necessarily, because sometimes you all grow people, right? Sometimes
mhm.
people are comfortable where they are. And I always say, I'm fine with wherever they want to be once they're happy and they're not trying to pull me down. So you still
Right,
have to be conscious of who these friends are and what are they adding to your life exactly.
right.
Who are you attracting, and and if you're attracting certain people that's not positive, therefore maybe something we have to work on in ourselves in order to attract the right people. Because recently I found myself losing a lot of friends that I was close to. And I'm someone that constantly work on myself, constant personal development. And if this was 5 years ago, I might have been bawling and crying. But I look at it as reason, season, or a lifetime. And honestly, 10 years, 20 years, maybe that was for a season. The season might have been long, but that
Mhm.
person came into your life for a reason, and maybe it's time to move on. And I'm not telling anyone that it's easy, but sometimes you do have to make room for new people to come into your life to maybe they need to get you to the next level, because that's what I've been going through.
Right. Beautifully said. Because, yes, we grow. So, when you grow, of course, you got to make space and room for that new experience, for the new
Mm,
people, for all the new stuff that's going to come in your life. So, to do that, you do have to let go of old, like relationships and things that are not serving your life anymore. So, yeah, you make room for that new relationship and experiences and just everything that you don't even know that's coming to you. And that's what's
right?
thrilling. Yeah, that's what's thrilling about this journey called life. Because I say that a lot when I'm like signing like emails and texts. I say, loving the journey of life, because this is a life that we are engaging in. So, as you just said, you have learned to, like you're growing, you're constantly growing and learning and evolving. So when you do that, guess what? A lot of those people aren't doing that either. They're not. So
Right. Yes.
so
And
you
and
have
you know what?
accepted that, right?
You
Yeah.
know what's the other thing to that too? I was also stuck in, oh, let me pull them with me. Let me take them with me. And I decided on this quote. I said, wherever you are on the step, whatever step you are on the staircase, focus on your step. Because I found that I would always look down to try to pull someone up. And when you're pulling someone up, maybe they're doing a great job, good for you, but then they're pulling you down one step. And it
Yeah.
goes the same way. You sometimes you're worried about the person in front of you. Just focus on your steps, because sometimes you
Right.
might look up and tip over because you're like, well, how come that person over there, how come they doing that? Focus on your step. You're gonna attract the right people. You're gonna fall in line. Things are gonna open up for you.
Right. That's very true. That's very true. And it is hard for a lot of us to stay focused on ourselves because, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, right? And we want
Right.
to focus on this person, we want to focus on that. But as you said, if you focus on yourself, then guess what? Then things gravitate to you because you're
Yeah.
focused on yourself and whatever you're trying to accomplish in life, then everything is like the universe will bring it to you. You're like a magnet now. You're
Yes. And
magnetizing what
right.
you,
But
yes.
I wish I knew. Again, some of these things you have heard of, or you know of, and you heard 100 times. But I always say I realize at that stage in life, I wasn't ready to receive it. Because
Right.
sometimes, we keep saying, I wish I knew what I know now then, because things would have been different. And
Mhm.
I'm many times I said, most likely it might have passed by. Someone said it to you. You might have read it in a book, but you wasn't there mentally to receive it. So
Right.
it's happening in the right moment.
Right.
And it's hard to accept something because we as women, especially, I
Mhm.
like for me, I'm worried about your age and where you are, what you accomplish, and what you
Mhm.
thought you would have been when you was 24. And these things definitely can slow you down because you keep thinking of what if, and then you're letting the present pass. And I'm
Right.
saying this because I know what I've been going through recently. Because people might look at me, oh, Miss Francois have it all. Well, I do, because looking like this is one of a kind. But at the same time, people always think, oh, Miss Francois might be fine. Miss Francois is flying here and there and everywhere. She has everything together. But there are moments in time where you sit with yourself and you reflect, and you're like, I'm someone that push and I work really hard to get
Mhm.
to the next level, the next level, the next level. And sometimes I do find myself not enjoying the present. But
Right.
even with saying that, is I have my moments, and then I have to pause, gather myself, reflect, and be like, you know what? This is exactly where I'm supposed to be. I
Mhm.
haven't lost time. I haven't lost anything. This is where
Mhm.
I'm supposed to be, but that doesn't mean I have to stay here. And
Yeah.
then always go back. Always hear about people say, be grateful.
Mhm.
And I think we take it for so we say, when you say things but you don't really mean it, but they don't really understand what you're saying. Because people say,
Right.
yeah, I'm grateful, I have a job. But no, seriously, you get to come to a job. Like, seriously, you get to breathe, you get to use your arms, you get to use your legs, and we take so much for granted. And there's a
Right.
saying where they say everything we get for free we don't appreciate. And just the breath, your hair, your eyes, your mouth, all the
Mhm.
things that the
Mhm.
most expensive thing in the world we get for free, and we take it for granted. They say you could
Mhm.
always get another house, you could always get another car, you could always make more money. But all the things you were born with, you can't automatically get, they don't grow back.
Right. Right.
And we
Yeah.
just take so much for granted.
Yeah. And I mean, the most important thing is you woke up this morning. You
Right?
woke up this morning. You breathing.
Yeah,
There you
you get to do it all over again. You get another chance.
yeah. And you know what? When I say you woke up this morning, guess what happens? That elevates you. Seriously, the people that may not even think of what I just said, but if they pause and really listen to what I said, guess what happens? It elevates their consciousness to a higher level. Like, wow, like
Mhm.
I hadn't even thought of that. Like you pause for a moment to say, yes, I am like alive and breathing. I never even thought of that. And a lot of people, and including myself in the past,
Yeah.
like you said, I didn't appreciate just that. But yes,
Yeah, because if you notice, we just get up in the morning, we do things blindly. We brush our teeth,
right.
we jog on our clothes, we complaining about what we have to do.
We were
If we have
complaining.
to gas in the car, oh, why I gotta go to this job? But I'm like, oh my God, if we just pause. And I recently started like more meditating and
Mm-hmm.
just being in that calm space, even if it's for 5, 10 minutes, it makes you so much more conscious and aware. It's
Yes.
it's it's an amazing feeling, and so when I even walk into work today, I was like, "Hey, I get to come to work." I
Mhm.
was like, "Well, they all think
Feel
I'm crazy
good.
because I'm always happy,
Well, yeah,
but it's so much to be happy for,
yeah.
because again, you don't know what tomorrow holds. You don't know if you're gonna get up. I always say you might get hit by a bicycle, because I ain't saying anything, because I could get up from a bicycle. I can't get up from the other stuff, but you really don't know. So
Yeah, you
just really be happy for the moment. I say I'm happy to be with Sonia right now.
yes, I'm definitely happy to be with you because you have great energy. Ah, you are a sun ray. Yeah.
you.
I mean, and I'm one that I meditate, and because I went through a lot of depressive moments and sad moments in my past experiences in life, but now I'm like on this high level of just love and light. I just radiate that out to them because that's what I feel, that's what I feel. And I love connecting with people. And I'm so happy that you're on my podcast and we're just sharing. I love this moment. Before this podcast, I had another podcast and I was sharing just what we're talking about now, just appreciating the moment, appreciating life, appreciating everything, just the simple things. Like you said, waking up, your arm, you can move your arm, you can walk, you can talk. We don't
Yeah,
appreciate that, you know,
really not.
but when we do appreciate it, you see a whole new world. You're happy.
Yeah.
You're always happy, right? I
Don't
know
make
I
me
am.
break into song. A whole new world. I can't. You want people to watch the program, okay? If you want them to watch the program, I can't sing. That's one thing that didn't run in my family.
Well, I love karaoke. Do you like
Yes.
karaoke? Yes, I
Yes,
think it's
once the
fun.
music is over, my voice a little. But you know what's funny? The thing with karaoke is once you start singing in your mind, you song amazing. Because when you have the
Yeah.
background and you're reading the words, you're like, yeah. But ooh,
Mhm.
I heard myself in some of those things, girl. You'll be like,
You're
I'm
like,
done.
but it was fun. I love it
Yeah,
because
it's
it's
always
fun.
fun. Yeah, it's always
Yeah.
fun, especially when
Yeah.
you do with a good group of people. That's exciting.
Yes. Yeah. If you're with a good group of people, it's a nice, fun song. It's just
Yeah,
yeah,
and they have like
fun.
background people, background
Yes.
singers coming to join you. No, it's a good. Well, now that you talk about it, I'm like, that's something I should plan before the summer is over to do
Yes.
some karaoke with some fun people. That should be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yes, it's a fun thing. I used to do that. I have two daughters, and one of my daughters, me and her, we love karaoke. So yeah,
Okay.
that's something we used to do like Friday or Saturday. We would just put on YouTube and put the karaoke, whatever
Yeah.
song, and it's fun. It's a fun thing to do.
See,
So
and that brings us to like that's one of the things. Like how I say I work hard and stuff. Is still remembering to take time to play and have some fun. You
yes,
know, it's
yeah,
because people always talk about balance. I don't necessarily agree with the whole balance thing
hmm,
because I feel like a lot of time you're unbalanced, but that's not necessarily a bad thing because sometimes people see balance. Okay, I have to work at this amount of time. I have to play this amount of time. In the real world, most of us are working 8 hours, so that's 8 hours of work. But to me, it's more about making time for the play, making time for the fun. Don't make your whole week all about work. So that's
right,
where I see it. So just
right,
know and know your body. Because
yeah.
sometimes you think you're fine and your body's trying to tell you differently, and sometimes you just dismiss it.
That's true. We do dismiss things that sometimes I feel like we should pay attention to, but when the time is right, we will go back to whatever we need to key into. So
Yeah, and
I
I think COVID has taught a lot of us that it's not that serious because when everything shut down, all the meetings, all the things that you supposedly had to do, you didn't have to do them anymore. You know,
exactly,
so it's
yeah,
like really putting things in perspective and what's really important, and your mind, your spirit, your body is
mhm,
important. So once
yes,
that is on point, everything else, nothing is gonna disappear. To taking 5 minutes, like I always tell people, when they say self care, I told people, doesn't always have to be this spa, doesn't have to be you jumping on a cruise ship. It could be 5 minutes of breathing. It could be five
that's
minutes of
right.
meditation. It could be 5 minutes of taking a walk. It could just be
Mhm.
pausing, and you'll see how much more energy you get from there, how much relaxed you're from that. Because I like to do my like 5 minutes breathing, 4-7-8, it's called. And it's amazing when you just release and you go back out there. Like it's like you had a whole nap.
Mhm.
So just it doesn't matter once you take the time for yourself, whatever that might look like for
For
you.
you. Right, right. Yeah, I tell people as well to pause. I always tell people to pause and inhale and exhale. Just do that simple practice every day because it helps bring in harmony. You're oxygenating your body, your mind, and it brings in a sense of peace. And guess what? We are peace. That's
Yeah.
what you are. You're getting back to your original state. So, and a lot of people don't know what their original state is, but when you start to pause and breathe in and out,
Mm.
you just bring this sense of peace and tranquility over you. And then it's like you can do anything. So if
Yeah.
we just incorporate that in our life practices, I feel you can go a long way throughout your day if just doing that simple practice, right?
Definitely. Yes.
Yeah, so we're going to end the podcast now, but first, I want to have you say any last words that you want to say to the viewers or the listeners, and then you can tell them your website or anything that you want them to connect with you from. I'll go
So
for it.
I just want to take this time to just remind me, just like some of the stuff we've been talking about, is what people say, oh, put yourself for self-care, but really see what that looks like to you and put something in place. Even if it's 5 minutes a day, even if it's a day out of the week, really focus on putting yourself first, because once you put yourself first, you'll be happier. People around you will be happier. You'll attract the right people. So that
Mhm.
matters a whole lot. With me, you can definitely check me up on my website, www.mssfrancois.com, as you can see it on the screen. And I do free coaching. I offer a lot of different classes, especially when it comes to healing after a breakup. And I have even a free ebook you can check out. It's called Are You Ready to Date? Because you need to ask yourself some serious questions. You can't go from relationship to relationship hoping that you magically heal. And it's so many baggage we take with us. Take time for yourself and really ask yourself some serious questions. And you can definitely check me out on all social media.
Okay, all right. Well, as I say to my listeners at the end of the show, to always be present in the moment, enjoy the steps of your journey, and to always remember that the treasure is you. So take care and namaste.